There are 2 days until summer, and I'm so excited for all the summer books that I want to read. This is the stack of every book that I am hoping to get to this summer. I have 10 books here, and a lot of them I've been hanging on to for a while for the perfect time for the heat waves. A lot of them are based in sweltering heat, and that adds so much to the plot. So I'm so excited. I'm so happy that I saved these and now I get to read them, but now I have to make sure that I actually get to them. Otherwise, I have to wait a whole nother year. I mean, I don't have to, but I will want to, and I will also use that as an excuse to not read them. So the first book that I have is All Fours. I have seen this book everywhere. I have heard so many great things, and the reason I haven't picked it up is because I was waiting for it to come out in paperback, and it finally has, so I will be reading this as soon as possible, probably one of the first ones that I read out of this list. This book follows an artist who leaves her husband and her child, saying that she's going to drive from LA to New York, searching for some sort of freedom. She ends up deciding to get off 30 minutes away from her house and go to a random motel and go on some other sort of journey. I have no idea where this is supposed to go, and I think that will be the fun of it. I have no doubt that I'm going to love this book because I know so many people also love it, and the premise of this being her searching for freedom and just a huge change in her life makes me feel like it'll be perfect for summer. That is a lot of the times the type of book that I'm looking for, kind of searching for something new, developing a new identity, or just all the days blending together and not really seeming like it is a part of your real life. So I'm hoping that I get that from All Fours. The next book on my list is The Safe Keep. I actually just started this. I'm like the teeniest bit of the way through, and I am so excited. This is another one that is set in the heat, set in the summer months. It is following Isabel, who has developed a really strict routine and she's super disciplined, and her brother drops off his new girlfriend who is going to stay for the whole summer season, and she doesn't really have this discipline. Of course, she doesn't have this routine that Isabel has developed for herself, and she's been living completely alone for quite some time. It is a difficult relationship for them, being roommates for this summer, and Isabella is really grappling with the need to control her and control the environment. I'm really excited to see how their relationship unfolds and how the author writes the tension between these two characters. I have been saving this just because it says it is set in the summer, and I think that the heat is going to have a lot to do with this building and bubbling relationship. The next book on my list is Rouge. I have been meaning to get to this for so long. This isn't really even a summer book. It's set in California, and I live in Canada, so really anytime California is mentioned, it seems a little bit summery just because I know it's going to be hotter than it is here during our winter, like no matter what time of the year. This book follows Belle. Her mother has recently passed and she goes back to California, tries to understand what has happened to her mother. There are many questions left for her to search for after the death. And at the funeral, she sees a mysterious woman in red, which leads her to a video of this transformative kind of culty spa that gives her more answers about her mother. Her mother was extremely devoted to this spa, and it gives her answers about why her mother was so obsessed and controlled by aesthetics and beauty, and also herself. She also has this preoccupation with aesthetics and beauty, and I think this will be a very interesting one. Set in California, so it gives that summer, but also sounds like it'll be very transformative, which I usually think of summer when there are books about big changes. Next up is Bombshell, which just screams summer. The synopsis of this book, there is just so much going on. I got it from Book of the Month for a June pick, and basically what I got from the premise of this is our main character is a high school student who feels like she is destined for big things. She is just so excited to get out of high school, and she gets kidnapped. And while she's kidnapped and she's in captivity, she's spending a lot of time with these 3 young boys who captured her, and they are starting to get under her spell. She has this charm and she's using it on them, and while they are spending all this time together, she gets to know their politics and what they're all about, and ends up getting really excited about their movement, and she ends up being the face of their movement and is all over TV. It seems like she gets quite famous, so kind of gets what she wants. I'm really excited about this. Sounds like it'll just be kind of a crazy time. Like, it sounds like there's a lot going on in this book. Next, we have Breast and Eggs. This has been on my shelf forever. It's another one of those books that has just been there for so long collecting dust, and I cannot wait to get to it. It also feels like a very summer read, and I've been saving it for spring or summer. It is following 3 women in Japan who are of all different ages and their different journeys with aging and aesthetics as a woman. And I'm really excited for this one. It's also set in summer, so I think it'll be just perfect. Next is Emma. Very self-explanatory. I've just never read this book, and to me it seems like a book that I should be reading in the garden with tea in the summer sun. I don't know why. It just feels like that would be the perfect time to read this book. I'm sure you know, but it is about Emma, who thinks she is the best matchmaker and ultimately things go wrong. And I'm excited to finally get to this classic. Next on my list is Young Mungo. I have never read a book by Douglas Stewart, but I know that I have to, so this is going to be read this summer. The synopsis doesn't really tell me too much of what's going on, but it is set in Glasgow, and it is about Mungo and James, who develop this friendship and this love for each other and explores that relationship. But then Mungo's mother sends him on a fishing trip with 2 older men, and he has to find his way back to James. There's definitely going to be a lot more going on with this story, and I'm excited to dive into my first Douglas Stewart book. Next up on my list is My Friends. This is another author that I have been meaning to read, and I've heard such good things about their books, but I have just not picked up a single one of them. So I'm going to start with My Friends. It is set in the summer, and it is his newest release. It is about Louisa, who is an artist, and she's determined to find out who these 3 figures are in this famous painting who are sitting at the end of a pier. I believe what's going to happen is it's showing the timeline of Louisa trying to figure this out at the same time as we are seeing the story of those 3 young people at the end of this pier. The 3 young people in their story, they spend long summer days together, and they develop their friendship with this shared need to get out of the house. They find comfort in each other through the hard times that are happening in the house. I think it will explore this deep friendship of theirs. I've heard he really focuses on the characters and their place in society and just what it means to be a human, so I cannot wait to read it. I have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I once gotten halfway through this book, and then I just never finished it. Like, I think that I can enjoy it, but it just wasn't the right time. And I know that if I do not read it this summer, I probably will not be reading it anytime soon. But it's following Emily Wilde, who is a researcher, and she is going to write this Encyclopedia of Fairies and needs to go away to research about these specific fairies. She doesn't really plan on building any relationships with the people in the town. She's very quiet and just likes to be with her dog and her book. But a rival from the school that she works at also comes to join in on the research, and a little bit of a mystery unfolds with who he really is. Sounds like they have a difficult relationship, especially because she was planning on just being alone. I hope that I get to this. I hope that I read it because I think I could like it. I just really was not into it when I was reading the first half of it, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. Last book on my list is 3 Days in June. This is a very new book that I bought. I got it when I was flying back from, I got it when I flew from Ottawa to Vancouver, and I picked it up at the airport, was planning on reading on my trip, and literally just got like 1 page in. I don't even know too much about it, but it's set in June. It should be the perfect summer read. I haven't read anything by Anne Tyler, but she is a very well-known author, and I'm sure I will enjoy this book. And I know that if I don't read it this summer, it will not be read until next year because it is set in June. It would just feel wrong to read any other time. These are all the books that I'm going to be reading this summer. They're all on my physical TBR, so they are going to be my focus. And it would be nice to get all the summery reads off of my shelf before the fall and the winter, because I know that the chance of me reading these in the colder months is just going to keep going down. Can't wait to read all these books and make some more videos about these books. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!